Let's make homemade flour tortillas together. So you're going to start with 3 cups of flour in a bowl, and you're going to follow that up with half teaspoon of salt. And then I use lard, so we're going to do half a cup of lard. I don't use baking powder because I heard that it makes the tortillas harder, and it works without it. So you're going to want to mix that up. I use gloves because I personally don't like how messy this part is, but that's personal preference. But you're going to want to mix that lard in until you get a crumbly consistency rather than powdery, and it's going to look like that. Then this next part is really important. You are going to want to get warm water, like very warm water. First, I warmed up my comal to low medium heat, but you're going to slowly pour in from 3/4 of a cup to a cup of warm water. You start with half first, and then you kind of just like add more as you go, because it depends on your climate for how much you're going to need. So I needed a little less than a full cup, and you're going to mix that together with your hands until the dough doesn't stick to your hands. You can see how like the dough is very sticky. So you're just going to keep kneading that until it doesn't stick to your hands anymore. So when it's ready, it's going to look like this. And then I'm going to keep tucking all the edges in and moving it in a circle to like kind of really maintain that like shape. And then after that, you're going to go ahead and portion out your tortillas. You want to be mindful of the shape so that when you roll it out, it's not too big for your comal. But you could see how I'm tucking all the edges in to get that perfect disc shape. That's just the technique that my dad taught me. So once that is done, you're going to want to do all of your tortillas and set those aside so that you can roll them out. One thing that is really important when you are rolling out your tortillas is that you want to make sure your surface is covered in flour, and you're going to want to make sure your rolling pin is covered in flour. So when you're flattening these out with your hands, one thing that I would say is make sure you keep rotating it to keep that shape and focus on the edges a lot, just to make sure that they get thin and they're not too thick. And then you are going to put it down and roll it out. And in between rolls, you do want to rotate the tortilla. So make sure you're doing that just to maintain that circular shape. It's a little difficult. I'm still getting the hang of it. So give yourself some grace while you're doing that. It just gets easier with as the more batches that you make. Then you're going to want to put that on your comal, and the low medium heat is what's going to cook the tortilla without burning the tortilla, and that way you get those perfect light brown spots. And then that's it. Okay, bye.